Okay, so the topic of the month has been family, and particularly blended family. Now, if you watched 2 Wednesdays ago, we had an awesome panel. It was amazing. It was probably the best panel I've ever seen, and actually got to be a part of it, live interacting in the audience.
As a bonus parent or step parent, is there ever a time when you feel left out?
And this just may help somebody. I always try to not have the child to decide, to choose that I love you and you can still have a relationship with your father in my situation. But communication is the key.
The one thing I would say that I would do differently is there's conversations that I have had with my adult daughter that we've had some very intimate, deep, serious conversations that if I could do it over again, I would have had those conversations earlier. I think a lot of times as parents, we make the mistake of thinking our children can't handle certain things. And we really don't realize sometimes just how mature they are and just how ready they are for some things. And so I think sometimes we put things off too late that we really need to address a lot sooner. Now, it was awesome and wonderful in the times that we did get into those different conversations and have those things, because they have questions like, why'd you leave my mama? Or, what happened? Serious questions. When did you meet your wife? Did you meet her when you were with my mother?
Wasn't my fault.
What's the deal here? And so if there was one thing I would do differently, I would address a lot of those things a lot sooner and not have allowed false narratives to take root and grow in their mind. And then later on, trying to uproot those things. And I don't think there's a specific age or a date that you do that. You just have to allow the Holy Spirit to lead you in when you believe that they're ready to have those conversations, and don't wait on them to bring it up. You initiate that as the parent.
It really, like I said, both of us have been in Harvest Church 20 plus years. And so our pastor has so many nuggets, and I call it from, the book of Bishop Steve Howe, chapter 5, verse 4. He's always said to allow the blended parent to have your child. And she released her to me. And I was tough in situations, like waking you up at 3 a.m, this kitchen ain't clean. And, and she didn't like that, but she let me have her and let me put in her a love and the strength of a father. And, it's a part of the blessing. So don't be afraid to give your child to the mate, to release them. Let them raise, let them put strength in it. If it's the mother, let her love them. Let her be a mother figure. If it's the father, let him be strength in their lives.
Whether it's a blended family, whether it's just another sibling coming in, you need to allow them to be a part, to show up, be present in everything. From the time you find out you're pregnant to when the babies do, have them have little jobs. We had little badges, that said that they were big sisters, all those different things that affirm them so they don't feel like you're replacing them. So I think that's really important with the communication, that you make sure that you're validating through the whole process and navigating, and allow them to navigate when the baby comes. Let them help you change diapers and let them not lose their place. That's what's important.
For us, like our oldest daughter, she was so jealous when the new baby came. So what we did was we had a meeting. We set everybody down. Hey, this is how it's going to go. And for Dad, I love you all equally. Like they said, nothing's going to change. I had to find that balance also, spending time with each one to continuously show them, hey, I love you the same. Nothing's changed. So that's what we took time and did.
They come over, they vent because they have some things going on within their household. Okay, that's fine. We talk about things, we squash it. If they have something they want to address towards me, they have the opportunity to do so. But when they come over and talk about the other parent, I really recently had to kind of shut that down because it was drama. Then it started hindering our marriage. So then we're going at it. So one point, actually recently, within the last week or two, I had to kind of just press it for real, honestly, because it's a lot. It is honestly a lot. So the open door policy is all across the board except for the parent as the moment. We just can't do it. We just can't do it.
Before they go, I want to piggyback off of what she said, because when you do that and you allow the kids to speak freely, a lot of times they take that back home. Now it's friction between you and that other parent. So that's why we shut it down, because we like peace in our home. And when they come over, they know that. No, don't do that. No, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, tell me about your day. And I learned this from hanging with Jay all the time. You know, hey, you need to shut that down. Okay, I'm going to shut it down. And like I said, just having that communication with them, just tell me about you. Tell me about your day, how's school and things like that. Because, like I said again, we rather have that peace in our home than to be arguing back and forth.
One of the worst things I believe you can do is muzzle your children. Allow them to talk and express themselves. As a father, there's some things you want to allow because you want to know what's going on in your kid's house. Not to be all up in their business, but you know, your babies are over there. You know, and so my wife knows we allow them to express themselves freely.
Allow them to communicate that, because if you don't, then you really put in their head that you have an issue with the other. You create an agitation.
Because sometimes that all those different emotions that they're dealing with, they don't identify. They don't understand it, right? And the enemy plays on that. So you have to be mature enough, seeking the face of God with each child, how to navigate, what is too much, what's not enough, how to bring it all in so that it still lines up with your vision of your house.
We had to on purpose, and in all transparency, it was rough, it was rocky, it was volatile at times, and then the child would come, and you trying to figure it out, and you trying to work it out, and I'm trying to learn you, and I'm fighting for the way the Muldrews did it. You know, we wasn't all wrong and all bad either. And then the child comes, and we trying to work it out. We trying to become. It had to be on purpose, and then you've got to put God, keep God in the right place. And I'll be honest, we weren't good at that, and so it was him and it was me, and we was fighting each other, and we were fighting his habits and my habits, and his tendencies and my tendencies, and the way I wanted, the way he wanted, his toilet paper going over and under. We fighting over silly
squeezed
stuff.
in the middle.
We don't share the toothpaste. Thank the
Amen.
Lord. We don't have that problem.
Get two of everything. That's just a
Two.
bonus.
We
That's
had
just a
different-
marriage principle off top.
Laundry
Get to
detergent
everything.
was different at one point.
Don't stretch yourself
We're not
out,
gonna fight
sis.
over that. But
Put
we
the
was
seat up. Put
we
the
was
seat
two
down.
books.
no, but I'm telling you what, we were fighting over blinds. I will never forget. We was fighting over blinds. Clothes was this way for me, and clothes was this way for him. And I'm like, what difference does it make? Remember that? We went to counseling, and the
Over the
counselor said, what
blinds,
was
they
you
went to
fighting over? I said, the blinds. Because I would close them, and he would turn them the other way. Literally, you're going to change the blinds.
Counseling
And then
over
the
the
child comes. This has to do with the child's watching this foolishness. Like, so you got the child who wants y'all to break up, and then y'all look like y'all ain't going to make it.
So she turned the blinds
So,
his way.
so
Come on,
she
come
would, I ain't gonna put it on her. I'm just saying, she watching,
Betty.
and you trying to work it out. It's got to be on. I done got all off the question. It's got to be on purpose.
Lord.
And keep God
Say it
first.
louder for the people in the back.
And stop fighting each other.
From the book of Bishop Steve Howe, chapter 10, verse 8, he always have said,
Volume 2.
them kids gonna grow up and leave the house. He said, you two gonna be there and don't even know each other, fighting around these kids. And so
you
we
over
just
there.
endeavored to be best friends. We try to commit to a date day. You know, the kids get out of school at 4:00. And so we go to lunch, go to a old people movie matinee through the day. They $5. And we have a good time just being friends and enjoying each other. And we pick the kids up and we back to business. But endeavor to stay together, to work on each other. And
I want to encourage any parent whose child is not in the home and you feel like you're not doing your part, you are. And if there's some things that need to be changed, change them. But I can tell you, Damon, there is a void that you can only feel if he allows you. You can only feel the void if he allows you to. The opportunity now is that they have to want you to be a part of their life. You can't force it. You can't pressure it.
That's good.
They have to want it. It's just like God. You can get to God you can get as close to God as you want. But I'm talking to those parents. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're paying the child support. You're spending the time. You're available. Your phone is available. What more can you do? You can do what you can do. And don't apologize for what you can't do. Let God make up the difference.
So imagine now, we talked about the Father. Imagine God the Father. He sent his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, who was born in a blended family. Because Joseph was not his biological father.
Here you go. Come on.
And here's Christ, born in a blended family, has Joseph and Mary as parent. And yet God the Father is looking up and he desires that relationship with Jesus Christ. Two things I see here is that one, Joseph never prevented Jesus to have a relationship with his biological father. And we see at one point where Jesus is literally turning to Joseph and Mary, say, I need to be about my Father's business. Because there was something, Chutney, you said, that you have to leave that door open. And I do believe that God the Father left that door open because there's a void in you that only he can feel. Again, coming from a blended family, he getting baptized, and now his father affirmed him into his identity of who he is. And from that moment on, Jesus was able to fulfill the reason he brought on earth when the Father affirmed him. Let God the Father affirm you today. In those areas of hurt and pain that you've been experiencing, let God, the love of God, affirm you today. The love that you're really seeking and searching for, you can only find it in Christ Jesus.
Well, that's tonight. Man, tonight was awesome. It was amazing again. Even more amazing than I could ever anticipated.